Note on commercial theater.
By Langston Hughes.
You've taken my blues and gone.
Blues and gone.
Blues and gone.
Blues and gone.
You sing them on Broadway.
On Broadway.
And you sing them in Hollywood Bowl.
Hollywood Bowl.
And you mix them up.
Mix
with
them
symphonies.
Mix them
Symphonies. And you fix them.
Fix them.
So they don't sound like me. Yep. You've done taken my blues and gone.
My blues and gone. And you also took my spirituals and gone.
And gone.
And gone.
And gone.
You put me in Macbeth. And Carmen Jones.
Carmen Jones.
And all kinds of
swing Mikados.
And in everything. But what's about me?
About me. About me. About me.
But someday. Somebody. Stand up.
And talk about me.
And write about me. Black and beautiful. And sing about me.
And sing about me. And put on plays about me.
Plays about me. I reckon it'll be me, myself. Yes, it'll be me. It'll be me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching the BrenNewMedia show today. Today is a great day. I love that dance by Julian Milton. He was just awesome. Now, who is he?
Now, Julian is a student of mine, and actually he's also going to be in one of our shows down on Ville that the company is doing this year in November.
Okay, great. So tell the audience, introduce yourself and your wife. Let the audience know who I have here on the show today.
Okay, my name is Levi Frazier Jr., and I'm associate professor at Southwest Tennessee Community College in the theater department. Actually, I'm theater coordinator, and I've taken students to Greece, co-founded some of the study abroad programs. I went to Greece, I went to England, and one to Poland, and so I do that, and I'm also co-founder of Blues City Cultural Center and artistic director, co-founder with my wife, Deborah.
With your wife, Deborah.
So this year we celebrated 40 years.
Yes.
And we brought Ted Lange from the Love Boat to help us celebrate that 40 years.
Yes.
So he's really looking forward to come back.
Okay.
But we mainly do original work about the South, and specifically about the African American experience in the South. And that's one of the reasons why we did this poem and this interpretive dance. Because in it, of course, what you heard was that somebody has to tell our story. And that's what everybody is talking about. Who's going to tell your story? And so we want to tell our own story. And since Levi is our major playwright for the company, we want to hear our story about Memphis, about the South, and have playwrights who have experienced that to come and tell our story, and then we perform it.
And you're performing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
It was just really, really great. I really, really enjoyed that.
Yes.
That was great.
Thank
so also you've been doing this, what, over 30 years, is that right?
Well, our company is 40 years old, and my friends and I, a couple of friends and I, started our first company right out of college, so it's almost that long.
Yeah, that long.
And so and actually I met my wife, and we met each other through the theater, the first company. Yes.
Yes,
And
that was exciting.
That was where did you attend?
Well, I attended Rhodes College,
Rhodes College,
Southwestern in Memphis then, to show you how long ago it's been. And so we met through a mutual professor who introduced us over the phone, and because we had started this company and she wanted to get involved in theater. She was in Pennsylvania, and we said, well, come on down because you're a teacher, you like acting, so we got a program, you could possibly be in it.
Yeah, it was, this predated social media,
Facebook.
Cell phones. So we wrote letters. And it was,
great.
and talked on the phone just a little bit. So I think I fell in love with his voice.
Oh, he does have a nice voice. I mean, your voice is nice too, but his voice is really
that
nice.
Deep voice.
That deep voice. That's great. So now you passing the torch on to your daughter. So she's going to come on later on in the show, and
talk about what she's doing. as executive director and the things that she has in place, the programs, and how she plans to expand the programs that we already have.
Right. Right now we do about 4 programs. We do one, a tour that we do with young people both at Whitehaven and Orange Mound. And they have met with elders in both of these communities. And we actually have a tour bus, and they take tours. They take people on tours and talk about the history of their neighborhoods, because we want to make sure that, again, who tells your story? And so the young people begin to recognize how important the story is that the elders tell, but they interpret it. So they do short scenes from the neighborhood, and people get an opportunity to see that. And then we also have a program called So Much Love, which Ayana will talk about, where we work with homeless women and women who are marginalized, as well as our productions that both Levi and Ayana will talk about.
Very nice. Now you're talking about the younger people going through the neighborhoods. What if anybody can join this, or I mean maybe some young children that's watching the show that maybe want to get involved with some of your things that you're doing here? Is it any way that they can get involved and participate with any of your events that's going on here?
We actually have a program called Peace in the House, and of course that peace means peace in me first. And so we will have a play that we will do, and then what we do is have artists from all different segments, visual art, writing, music, dance, and they will help young people interpret what it is that they're feeling, and we're going to go through neighborhoods and actually do that. So yes, they will be able to contact us.
So let's go back to some of your writing and some of the shows that you're performing, Levi. Elaborate a little on that.
Okay, the 2 shows that we're doing now primarily are Tickle the Rain. It's a show for elementary school children based on a children's book I wrote. And the next show that we're doing is for junior high or middle school students and high school students. It's called Down on Bill. It's the history of Bill Street Blues and W.C. Handy. And I wrote that some years ago, and Tickle the Rain more recently. But these shows we have been doing in schools for a while. Okay, so those are the main 2 shows that we're doing. I've written other shows as well. We did a produced a show at Southwest Tennessee Community College this past year called Imagination. That I wrote. It's a fictitious meeting between Phyllis Wheatley and Alexander Pushkin, 2 people of African descent. And a couple of years ago I wrote a show, I presented the show at Southwest. It was called When It Rains, and it won an Ostrander Awards, which is Memphis.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Memphis is equivalent to the Tony Awards.
Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations on that. With you being a writer, how do you come up with your ideas? I know each writer is different, but how do you come up with your ideas on when you write?
It varies. It could be a song that I hear on the radio. It could be a person walking down the street that reminds me of someone.
Well, let me just say this. His mother told us, watch what you say around my son because you'll find it in a play.
And she was right.
She was right. So any issues we would have, sometimes at home, sometimes with our children when they were growing up, all of a sudden they would just go,
it's on stage. Wait a minute. That's familiar here. Yeah, so that's great. So your upcoming shows, will there be auditions for people to participate in the shows?
There will be auditions, and Ayana will talk more about the auditions when she comes on. But yeah, we audition for our plays. That's one way we get young people involved. We hold audition for the plays that we do. Yes.
And one thing about Down on Bill, because this is the bicentennial for Memphis, we focused on Down on Bill because we're going to do a history of Memphis and Beale Street, as well as the music, the blues, because when we've done this performance before, it is amazing how many adults have said, I didn't know that about Memphis. I didn't know that this happened.
There's a lot of people not well educated about Memphis and the history of Memphis and blues.
And just how strong and how beautiful our history is. And the fact that so many African Americans have done so much to contribute to what Memphis is today.
Yes.
And we really, really appreciate you guys for elaborating and putting that history out to let us know how important it is to know our history in the blues community.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. And
Thank
thank you
you.
guys. So I didn't even shake your hand. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. So we're going to take a break. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're going to continue where we left off. Mr. Levi Frazier and Deborah is going to elaborate a little on their international trip.
We've taken students to London, Greece. We've taken students to Poland. Okay. The first trip was to London, London, England. We went there for 4 years, and we took students to London because London is a great place to study theater. Excellent theater in London.
Excellent theaters.
Yes, Warhorse was first premiered.
How
in
many
London.
students? How many students did you
Normally
take?
we took between, it depends on
depends.
the year, but we've taken between 12 and 23 students.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, yes. And
that's Southwest Community
Southwest
College
Tennessee
here in
Community College,
Memphis.
a little oftentimes unheralded school.
Yes.
We do great things.
Yes.
We do great things at Southwest. And so once we went to London, then we went to Greece.
Okay.
Okay, and we did Greece for about 4 years. My wife went with us on most of the trips. And we went to Greece because we wanted to study theater. Much of what we know about theater comes from Western influences of Greece.
Okay.
And so we went to Greece. We went to a city called Epidavros, and that had a beautiful theater. It was covered by an earthquake for many years, and they excavated. It was like 98% intact.
Wow.
And so it was built like 500 years before the birth of Christ.
Wow.
And it was a wonderful experience. Had students to actually perform in the space, read
right.
Oh, they
poems,
did?
original thing. Oh, priceless, priceless. And we went to Poland as well. Took some students there to study theater. Poland has great theater, excellent theater. So that's why we took the students to Poland.
Okay, what was the difference between the students there? I mean, with you taking this international trip, what did you guys come out with the difference from there to the USA?
You want to comment on
Yeah,
What was your
I really
experience? What
found
was your
that
experience?
particularly when we went to London,
Okay.
that students from America are loud. And so when we started the week out, they were just laughing and talking and just going, but most people were going to work.
Okay.
And in London, they had 2 newspapers, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So by the time we finished, they were also reading the newspaper. But what we really wanted students to see is that there's a difference in culture. Now, what was nice about London is everybody spoke English, so we could figure out words. But like when we asked for lemon, they gave us Sprite.
Lemonade.
Lemonade. We asked for lemonade and they gave us Sprite. And we were going, no, we asked for lemonade. So there was a bit of a cultural difference. But I also teach communication and theater. And one of the things I try to tell my students is that they are now competing on a global platform. So you're not fighting for a job for somebody who's sitting next to you or in your neighborhood. This is a global environment now.
Right.
And so you need to know how to cope in that global atmosphere. And so what we do when students go on these trips, they begin to see it doesn't matter if people speak English or not.
That's right.
There is a different culture. It's a different way that they do things, how they eat their food. The fact that they walk so much. Every place we went, they walked, and we're not used to.
We're not used to that here in
we're not.
America.
We're not used to walking.
That is
Yes.
a major form of transportation. Walking.
Walking.
And so that was enjoyable, as well as the food wasn't. It was so different. Well, we don't, and so we said, just try it.
Okay.
Try these things.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
always interesting to see how other people view you. See, we're so used to viewing other people that we feel like we judge other people by our standards, but it's good to see how, once you get out of the country, how other people see you. And you, oh, wow. Or it's just good to turn on the television and you see a show on, like one of the comedy shows, and then it's been spoken in the language of the country. You know, and it's like, oh, I didn't know this was. How did they do this?
How did they do this? So, Deborah, we have a show coming up on that international trip. I mean, have you like, okay, I know he's going to be creative and come up with the playwright on this.
Oh, that's right. That's exactly right.
So let's go back. Let's elaborate on your Noosa and Ostrander Awards here.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about the Ostrander, and I'll let Deb talk about the Noosa Award. The Ostrander is Memphis's equivalent to the Tony Awards.
Okay.
On shows on Broadway. So we have this Ostrander Award named after Jim Ostrander, who was an excellent actor in Memphis, tremendous talent here, who passed some years ago, and they named this award after him. And so about 2 years ago, I received an Ostrander for a play I wrote called When It Rains. And so that's the Ostrander I got. And it also received some other awards. Chattanooga Theater Center, it received first place for that award.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. And yeah.
What's it about? What's the play about?
Oh, yes. When It Rains is actually a tragedy of sorts. It's about a lady who's a beautician in Memphis in the 50s, and but at the same time, she's an abortionist. And so it has that heaviness to it. Then Imagination is a fictitious meeting between Alexander Pushkin, Russia's greatest writer, and Phyllis Wheatley, one of the first African-American writers. He was really African writers to pen poems in the United States. Both of African descent. Most people don't know it, but Alexander Pushkin's great-grandfather was African.
Oh, okay.
And Russia's called, in many cases, Russia's greatest writer.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yes.
So we've also had the opportunity to compete nationally and internationally on some of the programs that we offer in Memphis. And one, our neighborhood program where we talked about where the young people give tours, we won a national award from Neighborhoods USA. In which thank you,
Yeah.
which neighborhoods from all over the country, cities that have strong neighborhood programs actually compete. And so we submitted we submitted the tours for competition, and we won last year as the best neighborhood program because of the fact that, one, we pay youth during the summer.
Do you?
Yes, through through youth services, they are paid, and through the city as well. And they get an opportunity to work all summer to put these tours together, and then the fact that they worked with elders and they got an opportunity to interview them. So it was an intergenerational program. So they could hear stories that they had not thought about before, places that no longer exist. And that's one thing that we noticed when we went to Greece. See, a lot of things, people had these big notebooks, but these places didn't exist anymore, but they had people from all over the world being guides. So you could hear someone speaking from India. You could hear a guide from France. You could hear, and they just, this doesn't exist anymore, but this is what it looked like. And so we said, well, we have a story to tell. Let's go tell our story. And even though these things may be destroyed or torn down, you can still tell that story. But we added a little extra to it so that the students not only told the story, they performed the
yes.
story. So Levi with the young writers would sit down and talk about, now how do we turn this into a play? So people would get on the bus and they perform the play, or we would get
True
off the
stories.
bus. True stories.
True story.
Yes.
And that's what I like. You know, we actually visualizing what really happened.
Yes.
And as far as you're talking about with the jobs in the neighborhoods, I'm so glad that I have this show to get that information out to the community.
Yes.
Because there's so many young people in summertime, they look for jobs. You know, we have a lot of people here in
yes.
Memphis love music, love acting, but this is one way that they can get involved
Yes. That's
right.
with a lot of things that you're doing. And I know your daughter is going to come on and give all the information on how they can get involved with all of your organizations and the jobs for the summer for our young people. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is.
All right, and thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming here today. We're going to bring on your daughter. So you hang on in there with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I have Ayana Williams with us here. She's the daughter of Levi and Deborah Frazier.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank
now,
you.
you're passing the torch on to her.
Yes, we are.
now. But I want her to introduce herself first.
Well, hi again. I'm Ayana Williams, Levi and Deborah Frazier's daughter. And yes, they are passing the torch over to me as the new executive director. So, of course, I have some huge shoes to fill, but I'm learning a lot from them. They're still consulting me, so they're not going anywhere too quick. But they will still be there with me as I go through this journey, this process, and seeing all the hard work that they have done that they made look extremely easy.
Now, you've been involved with theater and art and
Yes.
the whole work.
I have been involved in it. I've actually performed in almost quite a few shows. Yes.
yes.
And I've done a lot of stage managing. I found that I really like being behind the scenes.
Okay.
That's where you tell people what to do.
There
Those
you
are
go.
the true directors.
You're
and
exactly
sta-
right. You know exactly what
Right.
you're doing.
She's good at it too.
She's good
very,
at it too.
very much.
So elaborate on what exactly that you're passing over for your daughter
Well,
to do.
she knows the history quite well, and so we don't have to ramp up, or get anybody to try to understand in order to do the work. She's been around it all the time since she was very young, and so she's seen it, and she's done it, and she's helped plan it, and she's worked backstage, as she said before, and been on stage. And so what we want her to do, and what she seems like she wants to do, is take the theater onto another level.
Okay.
And do things that we just, were thinking about doing, but she has the energy, the spirit, and the know-how to get it done. And with producing shows, expanding productions that we already have and programs that we already have, and giving fresh insight into the things that we put into motion.
Okay, so you're still going to be
Oh,
involved,
we will.
but you're just going to be like on the back and let her
Right.
handle
Exactly.
everything for you.
Exactly. And she's bringing in other people who work well with her.
Okay. Yeah, so give us the information. I know your mom said you had all the information for people if they want to get involved with the organization. You had all the information to let them know.
Well, they can please contact us. Our number is 901-297-7418.
Okay.
And our email is that's our website.
Okay,
www.bluecitycc.org. And the email right now that we're using is Ayana, AYANA, @bluecitycc.org.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to people contacting us, getting back with them so that they can either volunteer, perform, because again, we do have our production coming up down on Bill.
Oh,
and
yeah,
auditions are
yeah.
exactly on September the 8th at 3:30 at Southwest. We'll be doing that along with Southwest Community College
Okay.
that my dad is from his
Yeah.
group that they're
From his
doing
group?
home. So
Okay.
we'll have 2 auditions that day.
So the audition is going to be at the community college, Southwest Community College here in Memphis, Tennessee, and you said 3 o'clock. Where's the location? Where exactly? In the auditorium there?
Yeah, in the theater.
In the
on
theater.
the Union.
On the Union campus, 737 Union Avenue, in the theater, Verticils, or VS, V as in Victory, S as in Sam, 113.
All right. If you ever wanted to be in a play, this is the time for you to get involved.
Yes,
Is that right?
Yes, it is. And we welcome those who've been in plays before, as well as those who may not have been in plays before, because you don't know until you actually try.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We really appreciate you coming here, passing out all of that information for the people, for the community, to get involved here in the city.
Thank you.
You and your wife Deborah, you're doing a great job here.
Thank you.
In the theater, in the music and art
Yes.
industry. So thank you very much.
Surely.
You're always welcome here.
Thank you
To come
so much.
on the show. I love it's a family thing.
Yes.
Yes,
It's a family
definitely.
thing.
We really enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you so much. Now, it was something else, Deborah, that you wanted to elaborate on with us.
Oh, we actually are doing a program, So Much Love, that'll start in October, and that's for the homeless women.
Yes.
And even marginalized women, people who are under the poverty level. So it is a program that provides hope and also teach them entrepreneurship. And because a lot of the women in that area are not able to get those traditional jobs. And the thing I love about my parents is they believe in arts for a better way of life. That's our tagline. And art is in everything that you do. So with that being the case, we give them hope by saying, hey, you can make a product. So you might not get that traditional job, but you can become your own boss. You can make something, and they make dolls, which are beautiful.
Oh,
and we have been
nice.
doing a thing called Sip and Sew. Our next one will be September 27th. And with that Sip and Sew, the ladies are able to teach their skills by
Sip, what is it?
Sip and Sew.
Sip and sew. Okay.
S-E-W.
Yes.
Okay, S-E-W.
So we're sewing love into that person. You're making some beautiful artwork. You're helping them to make the dolls to sell those products so that they end up earning a stipend from that. We provide them a lunch and a stipend.
So where that's going to be?
That will be at our office right now, 314 A.W. Willis. And we have that from 5:30. It's on a Friday from 5:30 until 8:30. You can stop by, see what they do. We're teaching them job skills, communication skills, as well as using their leadership skills. So they teach everything. They show you how to do it. We're just there to learn from them, and it brings the community together. It provides that camaraderie, just to see people sitting there
Right.
sewing together,
Yes.
talking. It doesn't matter what level or what you have
It's
gone
for
through.
everybody.
Exactly.
It's for everybody.
And that sew is S-E-W, much love. So,
So-
yeah, they're sewing
Sew,
products and they're
right.
sewing love, yes.
Yes.
So how do you come up with that name? I love
it was a
that.
brainstorm.
It was a brainstorm.
Yes, one of those brainstorms I had.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Levi, now your other project that you was telling me about, you're working on that now, right? Your other play.
Well, we have a play that will open up at Southwest on the 1st of November. It's called Home, and it's being directed by Irma Elzy. Irma Elzy has directed television shows in Hollywood, and so we are fortunate to have her as our director for this show.
Okay, and that's at Southwest Community
Southwest
College
Tennessee
again.
Community
The Macon campus?
This will be on the Union campus
The
as well.
Union campus.
November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay, all right. So, and the tickets, will there be tickets
It's free
Free.
and open to the public.
and open to the public?
We have Down on Bill coming, that we're doing the auditions. Our show will be November. It's really for the students, for kids, during the daytime right now. And that will be November 19th through the 22nd. We will have one evening show for the public, and that will be on Thursday, the 21st, at Christian Brothers University in their theater. So we're using that as a way, hey, to let people know, to celebrate the bicentennial of Memphis, Tennessee.
And again, what's that date again?
That will be November 19th through the 22nd.
19th through the 22nd
Yes.
at Christian Brothers.
Yes.
Here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank you.
much for coming on the show. You're always welcome to come here to the BrenNewMedia show. You guys were so informative, very talented family. I like a family that works together. That is just so great. And I mean, everybody, they're well known here in the city. So everybody knows the Frazier, Levi and Deborah. They're doing an amazing job here in the city. And you guys just keep it up. I
Thank
know
you.
you will.
Thank you very much.
so much. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.